This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Hello, Dumelang, welcome. I'm so excited, guys, to welcome you once again to another brilliant episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. As always, we bring life-changing, impactful information. We want to make a difference in this ecosystem. Like we keep saying, we want to enthuse you, energize you, and inspire you. And I have a guest just to do that. I have Miss GK, who will just momentarily introduce herself in detail. But for now, a little bit of housekeeping. Guys, there's a book here. I'm willing to give you a discount of 10% if you make it clear that you saw it on Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. It's usually retails at 400, but I'm willing to give it at 360 if you link it up with this particular podcast. So that's an incentive for you to come and grab your copy and make it clear to my PA that you saw it here. But as usual, I want you to strike the subscribe button, the notification bell, and the like bell so that we can fight those algorithms and get somewhere with this podcast. Thank you for watching and welcome. Welcome so much. I'm not going to tell them your CV because it's going to be long and interesting. I want you to do that. Just share a little bit of your condensed CV if you like, your name and your background.
Where do I even begin? My name is Gape Khumo Kgwaadira. First of all, thank you for having me here. My name is...
The pleasure is mine.
Yes, Gape Khumo Kgwaadira, also known as Miss GK's. I'm a media personality, TV and radio. I'm currently on RB2 after a 2-year break. I resigned 2 years ago, but I'm back. This is my first week
When
back.
is your slot on RB?
Weekdays, 12 to 3. I do the takeover.
Okay.
I'm a restaurateur. I own a restaurant called Kana Kgang, which is not far from here. I do a lot of emceeing. I MC a lot of corporate events. I'm a brand ambassador of quite a lot of reputable brands. I do social media content creation. I'm a lot of things. Voiceover artist. I do so many things in the media space, basically. Let me just say I'm an entertainer. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
No, I like that. And do you want to share a little bit about your academics, your training?
Okay. I went to, the last time I was in varsity, last time I was in school was in varsity, was in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, from 2008 until 2012. It was a 4-year degree. I did business computing, specializing in digital marketing. Then it was called e-marketing. So that's what I studied. Okay. I graduated 2022, and then I came to Botswana.
That sounds exciting.
2022 December. I remember it was the 5th or the 6th of December, somewhere there.
Okay. Did you work under... master? Were you trained? Did you have any kind of apprenticeship?
No, I never really. I mean, me studying marketing, it wasn't my choice. I've always wanted to be a creative, and I've always wanted to do TV and radio broadcasting. But my sister convinced my mom that no, she will not do these things. Celebrities die broke. Khumo has a lot of energy. I think she'll be in the wrong industry. She'd rather study something else. So for me, marketing was just to please them. So it wasn't far away from really what I wanted to achieve, what I wanted to study initially, but it worked out, didn't it? It worked out because now I'm doing branding, and everything that I started in school really is working for me right now.
When you mentioned your background, you forgot to mention that you were a speaker, and you and I have shared platforms with you as a professional speaker, delivering content. Do you want to share a little bit of that and how that came about and what you're doing in that space?
I've always loved speaking from when I was 14 years old. By the way, one thing maybe you don't know about me, I used to stutter a lot when I was a kid.
Oh.
I had a speaking problem, and I practiced as much as I could because I've always had a dream of being a public figure and a speaker of some sort. As long as I'm in the entertainment industry, that's what I knew when I was a kid, that I want to be this person. And when I was still young, back in the day, your TV being, when kids were playing outside after school, I'd rush home, as a mic, and just imitating what the guys were doing on TV. I really always wanted to do it, and talking a lot it was good practice for me to get over my stuttering problem. And I think when I was about 16, then I started speaking properly. But it was a challenge throughout my childhood. Surprisingly, it worked out, and I went to varsity, and here I am years later. I'm able to speak fluently. I'm not great because sometimes I stutter when I'm very nervous or when I'm emotional.
Nervous, is such a thing possible?
Trust me, like I was nervous on the way here. Yeah, so it really comes out.
But you know how to handle it when it happens.
Sometimes I can't. It depends. I'm an emotional person, so it depends on how I'm feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
But when I'm nervous and when I'm scared or when I'm very, very sad and I try to express myself, that's when the stuttering really comes out. But speaking for me, I never thought I could make a career out of it. You know, sometimes I'm invited to speak at a tea party or at any engagement. For me, I didn't think I'd make money from it. It just came in as an invite. Somebody called, hey, would like for you to come speak to kids. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm willing to pay this much. Oh, this is nice. And then now it became a part of me. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about radio. Let's talk about broadcasting.
Yeah.
How did that career start?
I remember when I was in varsity, I used to present in front of my friends, telling them I'm going to be Miss GKs when I get to Botswana. I believe in the power of a spoken word. Words have got so much power. Even the Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. And if you continue to speak positive things into your life, eventually they will manifest. If you believe, that is. So I used to really speak. And they used to laugh at me, you know. And then I started, because I was in Malaysia then, I wasn't studying anything media related. I found ways in which I could practice before coming to Botswana. So then I gathered a few of my friends, but on a camera when I don't like mic, you know, let me start interviewing. Because then Malaysia, you know, when we do parties, I'd go in there and I'll interview my friends. Hey, what are you wearing? What inspired the outfit? So for me,
was it before Lim Kong Khin had an office here or had a presence in Botswana?
I don't know if it had a presence in Botswana yet. I'm not sure. I don't remember. So yeah, that was my.
But you were in Lim Kong Khin.
I wasn't at Lim Kong Khin. Also, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I was at a business school.
Oh, I see.
Remember, my parents didn't want me to study anything media related.
Oh, okay, yes.
My sister convinced them, so I couldn't do anything media related.
Yes.
Because there's plenty of time here.
Yes.
Let me use it to actually practice.
Oh, I see.
Maybe this will work out for me in the future when I do get to go to Botswana.
Yeah.
So that's how I practiced, by doing short videos. Sometimes I'd go. Let's say maybe there's a Mogobe building. I'd go there and interview the security guards.
Really?
The secretary from there. I'd go into Ayoba and talk to the guys at Ayoba to shoot the plays.
As an example,
I'll talk to customers there, you know, as an example. So that was my practice. Would wake up in the morning and just go shoot. I'd interview cab drivers, customers at a mall. Our own equipment with my friends.
Oh, okay.
And then we put it up on YouTube. A lot of my content is actually on YouTube.
Oh, okay. We'll look it up. And then in terms of now radio specifically, how did it start?
Funny enough, for me, because growing up, I've just always wanted to do TV. That's what I saw, because I watched a lot of TV. I watched a lot of music shows. When I was in Malaysia, I listened to Yarona FM online. I listened to RB2 online. I listened to this online radio station. It didn't really last, but they had so much potential. It was called Trail News FM.
Oh.
It was called Trail News FM.
From here in Botswana.
In Botswana. Yeah, last I don't know what happened to those guys. They had so much potential. So my laptop was always on. It had those 3 tabs open. So I go school, I refresh one of the radio stations. I listen to Dollar Mac. Back in the day, I think it was Dollar Mac and Zizi Panther.
Wow.
Yeah, on the Faki safety belt.
Yeah.
So I used to listen to them on RB2. I used to listen to a lot of radio. And you know, I was like, maybe one day I'll do radio. Maybe one day. Because I really enjoyed, you know, the presenting vibe. I liked the art, you know, behind it. And it's just something that was locked in my head. For me, my first dream was always television. Radio was never a thing for me, but it was something that I was really, I was saying maybe I'll try it out in the future. So when I came to Botswana, as extensively more TV, I was still doing Property for You. My mother one day was driving, and then she heard a commercial ad that RB2 is looking for presenters. So on send a message at when I can delete to the presenter. Oko with TH because we grew up together in G West. So I called TH had to presenter. But please get the daily news and just apply. And you know, unfortunately that time they didn't want you to have a degree or any form of qualification in media. So you just needed to have some sort of qualification, diploma or degree. I'm like, yes, that's me. And then I applied and I got called for an interview, and that's how it started. And then by the grace of God, October 2013, I got hired.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's been about 12 years now.
So I was
11
for
years.
9 years before I resigned.
Oh, yeah, it was 9 years.
It was 9 years, yes.
And what was the gig that you had?
What was that?
The gig in terms of what show you had?
Oh, yeah. At first, because at first we went through training, so we put in people's shows. Show, Mogobe. Radio, the system, and then eventually after training, I was given a weekend slot because of my vibe and my personality. So I was given a slot called the Weekend Chiller. It was such a nice show. It was a 2-hour show, and then after that, they gave us shows, and then I did the top 40, the RB2 top 40, which was later sponsored by Orange. I did it for so many years, and then management thought, we think she's ready for prime time slot. And then I moved to breakfast show, and then they felt that I couldn't do the breakfast show with somebody else. And then I was moved to midday radio.
So it sounds to me that TV came before radio.
TV came before radio.
Well, then you have to tell us about the TV story.
I will.
Must be a juicy one.
It's an interesting story.
Yeah,
and then eventually I ended up doing a midday slot and then a top 40 on the weekend. So I was working 6 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
TV,
I landed Mobotswana December 2020, 2012. I made it in time for Flavor Dome audition. So the auditions deadline was on the 6th of December. I remember that time. So the person who was taking care of us at that time, because I get December January.
Yes.
So I make it in time for Flavor Dome auditions. I'd seen the post on Facebook. I need to make it in time for the auditions of Flavor Dome. Fortunately, I fly, and I came in. I got publication I make Flavor Dome, and I was never called for an interview. And then January, whilst I was still looking for a job, a friend of mine on Tari, there is a post to present that as a property for you. In my mind, I'm like, this is not what I had pictured. Why would I go and do a corporate show? I want to do vibe, parties and music, festivals. And then I think it was a quick process, and then eventually I found myself Mr. Mike. Mike, it's a big Mike. Big Mike on Tari. So what are you doing? What do you want to do? Are you ready for the job? I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess. Like, I was just really nervous because I didn't know what was going on. And funny enough, that week, the lady who was doing the show was sick or something, so he didn't have a choice but to use me because I was readily there. He's like, do you have a dress? Yeah. Do you have heels? Yes. Go and change. Let's get into it. And then
the script?
They went up, we're going to shoot some house. And then we started, and then he was very unhappy with me for so long. I think for a couple of months. This is not, oh man, this is not Vuzu, this is not. He wanted me to really tone down. And that time he wasn't my favorite person. But little did I know that was the practice I needed, because I'm now corporate. I'm a corporate brand.
Yeah.
That's how it started. And then O'Neill came.
He felt that you're a bit too hyper.
I'm a bit too hyper for the show, because the show is quite mellow. It's property, real estate. And then one day, O'Neill came and joined us. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a show with O'Neill. Oh my goodness. And O'Neill is really chilled, very mellow. So everything for me just happened so fast. And then 2 years later, we're still together. I think we did 2 seasons of Property for You. And when I left, he was so sad. I'm like, look at you now.
So now you wanted to focus on radio, or you were doing them at the same time at some point?
No, I did Property for You in January 2013. And then radio came about in October same year, at a later stage.
So there was a time they overlapped.
We were doing back and forth, doing TV and radio, TV and radio. And then I just learned to multitask, and then eventually I left Property for You. They got a new presenter, and then I did radio for a while. But then with radio now, that's when the brand started growing.
Yes.
Then everything else came from that. MCing, speaking, voiceover, everything else came from radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does a person have to have any special qualifications to MC, or did you undergo any training or self-training?
Self-training, I think we could say that, because for the 4 years I was in Malaysia, every time I had a chance to watch YouTube, I'd watch Oprah's TV show. I watched Tyra Banks. I watched all the shows, really. I love documentaries, so I used to watch a lot of documentaries. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember, I watched so many shows when I was in varsity just so I can understand how this is done, because I knew I wasn't qualified for the job, but I had the passion for it. So I was very patient with myself. I even had notes, like at notebooks, like, oh, so I interview this is how they're supposed to sit, even that posture, and the kind of questions that they ask are these kind of questions. So for me, I started reading. I would Google interview questions for a CEO, and I would just write them down. And I think that practice was quite necessary for me, because when I came in, I was in the studio, and I started doing the midday show. I'd interview ministers, and then I knew that, oh my goodness, the 4 years in Malaysia was not in vain.
Those years have paid off.
Those years have really paid off. So I used to practice on my own. Even now, I still do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of your ventures, which is the restaurant.
Yes.
How the idea sprung up in your head, and how you executed on it.
Oh man, what a very interesting story. So 2019, Rasawa and I, my best friend, Rasawa Motlakatari, we traveled to Thailand and Malaysia. And when we were in Malaysia...
On holiday?
Come again?
On holiday?
Yeah, on holiday, yeah. Went on holiday, and then we went to Malaysia, and we were in the streets of Pavilion. Pavilion Mall is like the most expensive mall in Kuala Lumpur, because it's the home of designers, where your Louis Vuitton, your Gucci, every designer you can think of, your Sephora, the home of makeup, every shop you can get is there, right? So we're just walking the streets of Pavilion. This is where I used to, have lunch, or sometimes one day in the future I'm gonna own my LV bag. So I was just showing him around, and then I came across a very nice mobile stall right in the heart of Pavilion. That stall in Ilea, in Nescafe Gold. I was so amazed, because then a sun like somebody transforming a trailer like that, a container that I always see in Gaborone. And then I started taking pictures, and then I don't drink coffee, and then I started taking pictures, and then I had to sit down. I had to buy coffee so I can enjoy, everything that I was seeing, the view. And I asked one waiter, I'm like, oh, is it okay for me to take a tour around? And then I took pictures. Immediately I sent them to my carpenter. And I just need you to take I could have started the nippets, and I'd say, I think one day we're gonna use them. And then I went to Dubai for the Dubai Expo, and then I saw.
That's part of work.
As work, yes.
Yeah.
Everything was so different. Oh my goodness, Dubai opened me up like it opened. I learned so many things about retail. There's so many mobile shops. Everything was so different. I just couldn't believe it. Everything was so new, and I just kept on, taking notes. So what happened was, one day, my mom passed away 3 years ago now from leukemia. So I used to visit a lot at the hospital.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. So I used to visit her. I think I want to open up a restaurant. It was just an idea, but I was joking. It wasn't like a solid plan.
Yes, at that point.
Because sometimes she'd be so much in pain. She'll say, okay, please tell me something. Tell me a story so I can forget about the pain.
Yeah.
And then I start sharing stuff with her. And then I found myself talking about this place that I want to own, but I didn't know how I was going to go about it,
because
I had zero
expertise.
Yeah, but her chemo was different. Her chemo... Cancer is a whole other topic that we'll discuss one day.
Yeah.
So then I was telling her that I want to own a restaurant, and I don't know what to do, but it's just an idea. But hopefully it'll come to pass. I was telling her that once you get out of the hospital, because she's really good at managing, funds. She was a really good manager. So, and then after she passed away in March 2021. And then 2 weeks after the whole funeral proceedings, I took a flight and I went to Joburg. Checked in a hotel. Cried and cried and cried.
Just alone?
I was alone. Then my friends, Taro Seiko and Gape Khumo joined me. We're always in Joburg at the same time. So, and then after that, I took a couple of days just to cry and take it all out. And then I just started visiting restaurants. I'd go to this restaurant in the morning so I can just, observe and learn. Went to another restaurant at lunch. Went to another restaurant in the evening. And sometimes I'd even call the chef just to compliment him on the meal. And then, chefs are... So I'm just taking notes. And then I came back after probably 10 days. And then I called my family and told them I'm opening a restaurant. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. I was so convinced that I was going to do it. I'm going to do it for my mom because I told her I'm going to do it. And now this is how I pick up the pieces. This is how I deal with loss. To be busy. And then I started with Kana Kgang, but I didn't have a place. So I just started driving around. I found myself driving around, and we found a bush somewhere in G West. And my friend was like, "This is it." I didn't even disagree. I was
completely like a
this
bush
is
with snakes and everything.
bush di tlhare le sengwe le sengwe so ka sa akanya go a ne go sa nna sentle. It was a bush. He said, "Khumo, this is it."
What was it about the location?
I don't know. I didn't even say no. I just said, "This is it." Ebere phaka, ebere kila batho ba cancel ba tlhagola cause go hale it was like ne go tlhagate ne se go dile. Re kila batho ba tlhagola, and we asked, "I need this. Where do I go?" Go te batla makhansela ba kgaolo. Ka matla ka mona. Honorable Senlo Palai. Ke re dumela ra ke nna Khumo Kgwaadira. Right? Go hale ke batla gore ke go change ke di bule restaurant. Unte bayan. I'm like, "Yeah, and it's going to happen." He was very happy about it's because it's very nice to meet young people with refreshing ideas. He said, "Go for it." And then I went on with the application process, which was very, very challenging. Still is. Having to sell the concept to Gaborone City Council about the entire dream. It was a very challenging process, but you know, if you believe in yourself and you believe in your dreams, you're not gonna give up. And then 11 months later, also how better you know how they say you just need to start. That's a real thing. I started with 30,000 bula. I asked my carpenter when it gives 2 years ago. Yeah, the Nescafe Gold trailer. Yeah, we could have 30,000. What can we do with 30,000? That's all the money I had. Literally, you company my idea because like a 000. What do we do? Wherever Kyo is, thank you so much. But let's see what we can do. We come back 3 months later. I have 30,000. Re cut 30,000 like 5,000 because we still go ahead. Madia hell, Kemela other gigs. Get another 10,000 another 5,000.
We did it bootstrapping.
We did it for about 11 months. 11 boom. Oh my goodness, it's complete.
Yeah.
It is complete. We couldn't believe it. What am I 30,000 the gig 10,000 5,000 to 1,000 what can we buy with this? And that's how it happened. And then March.
So it's not a container as such.
No, it was we have a container and we build a box around it and all these other nice elements to it. Yeah, it kept on changing.
It's shaped like a kota. How would you describe the concept?
How can I put it? Just, I don't even know. Get on social media to understand it. I don't even know how to explain because we kept on changing so many times. How happened, Mariana? So okay, fine. Because we have this much, we can't afford to do this. How about we just sort of like cut down our costs and do something nice, but also very presentable at the same time.
Yeah.
You know. But everything is built from pallets. Kana Kgang. There's this guy. DJ Spellet, South African. Because everything is built from pallets.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why we did that is because, you know, it's not my space, it belongs to Gaborone City Council. So as and when they want to use the land, I can go. At least the Haketama.
Speaking as a friend who happens to be a lawyer, I would have urged that you get a long-term lease from the council.
Please, dear Gaborone City Council, dear town clerk of Gaborone City Council, I hereby I would love that because if it's a long-term lease, we can do beautiful things in that place.
They were only willing to give you what, 2 years, 3 years?
How similar? If you're the first-time tenant, I don't know how to put it, but it's 2 years because they need to observe you.
Okay.
First,
so it's though we should go back for a long-term lease. I think some of them come there for their food, isn't it?
Yeah,
council office, council
they
people.
Do.
Yeah, that's the time to talk to them.
That's the chance there.
Yeah. Listen, what is it about the restaurant in terms of the vibe, the food? Because three things matter in the restaurant: service, vibe, and food.
Yeah.
Those 3 things. Can you describe them for me?
I think Kana Kgang is quite different. It's something we've never seen before. It's an absolute chesanyama. And chesanyamas, we see them, they're very popular in South Africa. And I think the reason why people like this is because it's very different. A lot of money went into the aesthetics more than anything. You know, especially when you pass there at night. Oh my goodness, it looks so beautiful at night. For me, because I knew it was a simple structure, we needed to add the aesthetics more than anything. And a signature photo booth You know, it's written Kana Kgang is so beautiful with
Yeah.
lights. So for me, I think that's the vibe. It's just a proper chisanyama spot, Muji West, but with a touch of elegance and touch of luxury. And people with money like chisanyamas more than anything. They want a place where they can wind down, because for 6 days in a week they're very busy with their suits and meetings and signing deals. Sunday is a time to really wind down and just relax. How it's a Sunday so you can actually come there for a bite and not feel out of place. You
Yes.
know? So we try to cater for almost everyone. But the aesthetics for me, quite amazing. Even with the pictures on social media, when people see pictures, they wonder, where is Kana Kgang? Is it really in G West?
Yeah.
So we also give G West a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, that's it.
If I may say so
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
The food is amazing. We tried out the menu at the beginning because we didn't know what we were doing. We just started. We tried to find our niche, and people really love traditional food.
Yeah.
And that is our selling point. And our braai, at the end of the day, it is a chisanyama.
Yeah.
Our different kinds of braai. And so mostly traditional food and braai.
Yeah.
That's what we normally do. That's what we do.
As an entrepreneur, you know that, you know, grit, perseverance, resilience is very important. So can you share your setbacks and your challenges, and help us understand how some of those, you know, characteristics like grit and resilience helped you to go through?
I think one of my biggest challenge for me personally, I'll start with me personally. I'm a very impatient person. Owning a business has taught me patience. I'm not there yet. It's something I'm learning, because now it's no longer about me. It's about first things first, it's about my team. Having to manage people, for me, it was something very new. And at the back of my mind, I knew my mom was always going to be there to help manage the team. But unfortunately, so for me, I had to learn from scratch, learn to manage a team, which was quite difficult. I'm very happy that we're now at a point where, you know, we're really good. It took people coming in, people leaving, training, for me to see who fits into the team, who doesn't, how best we can help by not that's lagging behind. So for me, the one thing I've learned is patience. At first it was very, very difficult, because I'm used to managing me. Now I'm managing, at first we were 5, now we're more than 20. So for me, that was that. My other challenge for me was, what other challenge was there? What other challenge? Introducing or selling the concept to Botswana. I'm used to selling me. I am the brand. It took me 9 years to build a very good, reputable brand, but now I'm selling a different concept. And in that moment, I wasn't Ms. GK, as I was Khumo Kgwaadira. So that also was very challenging, because challenging in a sense that when someone comes, they come to see Ms. GK's. I think people just also don't know that to separate the two. I might be a brand, but here I'm a baby. Kana Kgang is a baby. Ms. GK is but Kana Kgang was a baby. So for me, my challenge was that, because I think the expectations were a little bit too high. The pressure also of having to deliver all because I'm Ms. GK's, and sometimes having customers wanting to just deal with me and not with my waiter. So that was the biggest challenge, having to sell the product and also try and separate Ms. GK's from Khumo, sort of separating Ms. GK's from Kana Kgang. Because when I'm there, I'm totally different. I don't put on wigs and makeup and all those things. I'm a girl just really trying to make sure that I'm running a shop. At the end of the day, business has to make sense. So for me, that was the challenge.
So you own a manager?
Come again?
You're the owner and the manager.
And the manager. I have a lady now who's managing the place. As a waitress, Kana Kgang, and then she really put in the work, and she convinced me to promote her.
So you are able to attend to other challenges. That's why you're back on radio.
That's why I'm back on radio.
Because the place now is back on its.
But before I couldn't. Before it was quite difficult. I had 2 managers previously. Both of them actually have opened up their own kitchen quarter so they can serve lunch. But now I have a manager now.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Those are the challenges.
Yeah.
I think so. I wouldn't say finances. For me, I have a very interesting relationship with money. I knew from the very beginning that running a business doesn't mean I'm going to be rich, in one day. And for me, whenever we make money, it goes back into the business. How best can we improve Kana Kgang? So for me, I think it bothered my staff more than it does me. It bothers the plate, for example. It happens for you to sell 5 plates in a day. It's a lunch. Comes to accept plates at 20. Comes to 100. Comes to 150. Comes to Mogobe stuff. So for me, in that regard, because I have a certain relationship with money, and because I believe so much in my dreams and my goals, I'm never really worried when things are not going my way.
So the roller coaster of a business, the ups and downs, never really affected you?
No, it just upsets them. You know, I feel like, it's a 5 Khumo's probably going to be upset. Like, no, guys, that's yeah. But for me, the challenge is more about people, how people receive the brand, you know, what the feedback is. I think for me, that's what really gets to me.
You can decline to answer this if you want.
Yeah.
Do you want to address the recent controversy or the noise that has arisen from somebody posting something about you and saying terrible things about you and the restaurant? Don't you want to address that a bit?
Okay.
First of all, what is the hullabaloo about, and secondly, what do you think? How do you respond to all this?
Okay. Where do I start? I think first things first. I think it's quite unfortunate that this is happening, and I think I've addressed this before on Do My Fam when I had an interview. That, you know, sometimes when you attack someone, I can take an attack, but when the attack now is meant for other things, when it's maybe for malicious intent, think about the fact that not only are you attacking me, but you're attacking the 5, 10, 15, 20 families that I'm taking care of. Kana Kgang is bigger than me. I take care of families. So, and I always say this even on radio, when you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
I believe everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and me being a public figure, I know people will say certain things about me. But one thing that gives me peace when I go to bed is that the truth always comes out. It's very unfortunate that people said those things about me, and I do apologize. Some of them, you know, sometimes when you just can't believe what's happening on social media. What's quite really upsetting.
What are you apologizing for?
Some are, I'm apologizing for how everything happened. It's very unfortunate on social media. You know, some people that commented, I know them personally. Especially you can always put them to the side and say, but the moment you take it to social media, anybody can interpret what you say in so many different ways. I can't control what people say about me, but it was quite unfortunate. And like I said at the beginning, the truth just always really comes out. And because I'm a public figure, I'm used to people saying so many things about me, I can always just say it's okay, but it's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. And I hope that one day all of this...
What was your original complaint? Because I tried to make sense out of it. I didn't.
It was the fact that I gave... Someone had posted, I rate the service, I didn't give them a welcoming... I didn't welcome them properly. And it was their first time going to Kana Kgang, and it wasn't what she had expected. Because of the fact that I didn't give her the best reception. Yeah.
I've had in the restaurant downstairs, while we're still running black, people coming in, they eat the meal and they just, you know, when there's a tiny little bit left, they say, no, the fish wasn't well cooked, and that the quality of the service wasn't great. And then I bring in the waiter and try to establish what has happened. 9 times out of 10, the person says, no, but I decided to eat. And I said, then why are you complaining when you ate the food? Very rarely, but then you find that a lot of people are hurting. So because people are hurting, you know, they hurt others. So they come with their hurts, and they sometimes, because of the waiter being a little bit low, considered low in terms of status, they just take out their venom onto the waiter. And I've had to deal with situations like that.
Yeah.
But I've been fortunate that nobody has taken it to social media. Maybe they thought that I might sue them, because really, I wouldn't want my reputation to be attacked for no reason. And I wouldn't hesitate to institute legal proceedings if I feel that I'm being unfairly attacked. Is it something that you considered?
No, I just...
Do you know the perpetrator?
Yes.
Okay.
I just hoped that it'll pass.
Yeah.
And it'll pass, and hopefully things will get back to normal.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's not affecting the sales. If anything, some people are more curious now. I have to check that place out.
It really did. It really, really did.
Okay.
It did that other Sunday. But you know what? I'm really getting used to it. It's not a nice thing. But I'm getting used to it. And I listen. I read comments. I listen to customers. How can Sunday, how can Kana Kgang? 1 minute I'm at the gate, 1 minute I'm on the floor, 1 minute I'm at the kitchen. Because in Gape Khumo order, then I go check in the kitchen, or security needs help with a certain customer. It's a security. And because they can listen to me, because in Gape Khumo. So I deal with this almost every Sunday. So I'm always expecting someone, because but I can't serve
because now you are the waiter yourself.
I'm the waiter, I'm the security, I'm basically everything on a Sunday. So I know that I can't serve everyone, but I can serve. You see, that's also the challenge.
So if you know the person, isn't there an element of cyberbullying here? Is it because the law is there? It's a criminal offense if you harass and bully people on cyberspace. Can't you do something about that to make it worse?
It's okay.
It will make it worse.
It's really fine. I've been in the entertainment industry since 2013. People have said so many things about me, who I'm dating, this and that. I just. And
I remember when we shared a stage a year ago, beginning of last year, there was another controversy, but I've forgotten what it was. Remember?
Really?
Remember when we were at UB there with
oh, I remember. It was about a customer who ordered and they came hours late, and the brother took it to social media. They came to the shop and we talked about it, and we thought, it was done. It was done.
Yeah.
And the brother, I don't know if it was a brother or someone, but the person posted the following day on social media, making it seem like.
Yeah, I remember. And then it trended for about 2 weeks, and then disappeared.
I was really sad, because I think also because there are rules are rules. And how I think sometimes it comes across as if you're rude. So now order really, I think I'm not sure, I forgot the story, but I know that nasa order, but did you had kitchen due to hygiene purposes. Happily because something can happen. Maybe because I get pee hole or something, anything can happen.
If you're late,
so it's our problem. So I think something happened with that order, and the person came pretty late, and that time they couldn't get the food. I'm sorry if I'm getting the stories mixed up, but I had to deal with it. We discussed, and then we apologized. Then after apologizing, I'm very sorry on behalf of my staff, but and the following day then it came out on Facebook. So for me it was it was upsetting, because we sat down and we talked so, and then it made me realize that, the saying, the customer is always right. I think whether we like it or not. Now for me, I feel like whether we like it or not as business owners, for me, I let it slide. That's why even with the posts on social media, I read all of them, and I know my truth. We sat down with my staff. We actually looked at all the complaints. We read them together. Orange Madi, and Kana Kgang I even did a campaign with Orange Money because we use Orange Money go Kana Kgang because some people don't use F&B. You know, they can't do pay to sell at that time. They can do Orange Money. So we looked at all the comments and then we realized that why are people commenting about this when it's actually not true? So we looked at the comments, we looked at the issue as CVC. We had a meeting, like a thorough meeting with my staff, that how best can we serve our clients better this coming Sunday. So we avoid certain things. Even with security marshals, how best can we increase security marshals so that we're able to take care of clients. So we took all the comments and we took them into consideration. They were really hurtful. We just, you know, we put them aside. The advice that maybe if we could do things this way, we took them and we discussed them as a team, which is what I always do. Thing is, we can't always get it right, and my team and I are still learning. Kana Kgang is only 2 years old. I think we've come a long way, and I really look forward to doing better and to growing as a business owner.
Do you think there's a certain degree of vulnerability or unfairness that comes with being a public figure, stroke an influencer, stroke an MC, a public figure generally?
Yes. The unfair thing is something my friend always teaches me. PR 101. Do not respond. So sometimes I read things about me and they're not true and I can't respond. It's the safest way. It's what I've been taught for years. So
because if you respond, you
it
draw
might be
too
taken
much
out of context and also just going to blow out of proportion. Then we're creating more room for people to say even more things. So for me, I've learned from my friend that just never respond, don't say anything. Sometimes it hurts because I'm like, no, but that is not true. I want to say my piece. And then I just, you know, keep my cool. I talk to my friends. But that's the unfair thing, that you never really get to share your opinion.
But
your side of the story
where
doesn't
they
really
now
matter.
go to your customer, like you, a lot of corporates use you.
Yes.
If they now go to those corporates, and if the corporates buy the story, how do you then clear your name? Is there a way of maybe, even without responding on social media, communicating to your key stakeholders?
You know, I haven't actually, thank you for that idea. I haven't really thought about it. I once lost a gig from that controversy Antla. I lost a very big deal. Like a huge deal.
So
from
now
that.
with advice, I don't know what your lawyers would say, but obviously get legal advice. But off the cuff advice would be, even if you don't engage them on social media, do a communique directly to the people with whom you do business to clarify. In the same way as you sat down with your staff to deal with the issue and tick all the boxes that you are okay, I think it might be necessary when you have so many stakeholders to communicate with them as well.
Thank you for that advice. Thank you. I think I'll really look into it, because usually when something like that happens, when it happened, the clients were the ones calling us, checking us if we're okay.
Don't worry, I'll send a bill, no problem.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about your triumphs and successes. If we were to maybe talk about the top 3, what are the things that bring you most pride, most joy, that the good Lord has blessed you with in your entrepreneurial journey?
As an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
We hosted a very successful Kana Kgang First Sunday with DJ Fresh. That was very, very nice.
When was this?
It was end of Jan. It was end of Jan this year. After festive break, we tried something different and we invited him and he showed up. And people loved the vibe. I want
him on that chair. I want to interview him.
Okay.
If you see him, tell him I want to interview him.
I'll tell him.
He's a very interesting gentleman. I follow him.
And then he came, and it was such a great success. And also within Kana Kgang, we've hosted really successful activations. You know, someone's brand, bringing it to Kana Kgang and trusting that brand with us. For me, I was truly honored. The day club that is run by Architects of Groove, Visa actually came the other day through Dialogue, and beyond us, we had a couple of activations at Kana Kgang. They were all successful, and you know.
What is an activation for those who don't know?
An activation, for example, it's like you coming to set up Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast at Kana Kgang, and then inviting people to come and watch. And then on the day, your team and I work together. We're all 7 clients, people coming in to watch the podcast, also while serving food and adding
while
other
selling
things.
The book as well.
While selling the
Maybe
book
even
as well.
signing the book in between.
Signing the book as well.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we mean by An activation. So basically bringing your brand, fusing it into ours, and finding a way to gel together and work together on that particular day.
You've just given me an idea to do exactly that.
You
should we do it?
We can.
We're going to do it.
We can on a Saturday, get brands involved, maybe have like welcome drinks, have a few bites over there, set up a very nice, very nice stall for your book, get people to sign. Maybe if you're buying a ticket on the day, you get a certain discount for your book, and then we have Kana Kgang food.
Consider it done. If you're watching, consider it done. We'll give you a date. We'll give you the specifics.
And then the ticket comes with a complimentary meal from Kana Kgang. That's how you do an activation.
Wow.
So that's, I think those are the very successful activations we've had at Kana Kgang. What else? Us celebrating 2 years. I didn't think I'd survive 2 years as an entrepreneur.
Wow, this is
my
great.
goodness, I couldn't believe it.
But not just an entrepreneur, a multifaceted entrepreneur,
yes.
a serial entrepreneur. Because now you've gone back on radio.
Yes.
Listen, there's a bit of controversy in South Africa about DJ Sbu. What DJ Sbu did, he's a successful entrepreneur. Everybody knows he's got his own podcast.
Yeah.
But recently he went back to radio and people were ridiculing, some ignorant people were ridiculing him, saying, he's lost the vibe, now he's back to a paycheck. He's found a way of addressing it. I'm curious how you'd address it when people say, where to go paycheck to paycheck.
People are entitled to their own opinion.
Yes.
I mean, he has his reasons that are personal as to why he's gone back to radio, reasons known to him, and people will say,
well, he said, I'm diversifying. I still have my businesses.
They want to say, hey, sometimes you just miss it. You just miss being in the studio. You miss communicating or interacting with your audience. Like I said, I can't answer for him, but I'm sure there are reasons.
What about for yourself?
For me, I was actually talking about it with a friend of mine. Can I say it just happened? Can I just say it just happened?
I don't know whether things just happen.
I don't know. It came at a time when I needed to take a break from being at Kana Kgang all the time. I was quite overwhelmed and I was looking for something. I was just looking into just stepping back for a bit and focusing on something else whilst I get my house in order, but at a distance, and also trying to teach them some sort of independence. But I won't be there all the time. I won't be there on a Kana Kgang Sunday when it's busy. I won't be there when there's an activation or when there's an event at Kana Kgang, but you guys should be able to do so when I'm not there. So I think RB2 came at a time where I just needed that, and for some funny reason, thoughts just attract the energy around, and then I got a call and I'm back on air.
It's interesting, when I was with you on stage at Baisaho,
yes,
you said it might happen.
I knew that. I just didn't want to.
You didn't just want to.
It was a done deal.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. And now it's been what, 2-3 weeks?
No, my first week. Today was my 4th day.
Oh, okay.
I started this Monday.
And what are your initial impressions?
Sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, I don't know how to feel. So I still don't know how I feel. But what's scary about this entire thing is that truly this is within me. I can do it even in my sleep. I got back to radio, went into the same studio, sat down, the mic went on, and everything that just started flowing. It made me realize.
It's like you never stopped.
Yeah, and then it just made me realize, wow. Rusty in the beginning because there's so many rules now. Things have changed because with the rebranding and everything. So I had to adjust to a few things, but it wasn't, it wasn't.
You handle the things yourself. I mean,
yes, in the studio. There's so many buttons and so many screens. Trust me.
Yeah.
At first, you might think it's quite complicated, but I'm used to the system already.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed slightly. Much. Oh, slightly.
Yeah, the other big things happening with RB2, I cannot say.
Yeah.
But I got into the studio and it felt like home. I think that feeling just made me realize that
this is where you belong. This is where you belong.
Yeah.
And how has the public responded in terms of call-ins and so on?
I was quite nervous because I started, I got back on air right at the time. Yeah, the social media situation. But you know, by the grace of God, people are happy that I'm back. Even the feedback on social media is quite overwhelming.
No, that's good.
I'm really happy. I remember I just said a prayer in the studio. I'm like, thank you, God. Like, I didn't see it happening. I was nervous. I wasn't nervous about me being in the studio. I was nervous about the fact that I'm on air just days after the controversial comments on social media. So I was a bit worried about that maybe they might not receive me well. But the moment they heard my voice, yeah.
Tell me about your current projects outside radio. I mean, as a speaker, as an MC, as a public figure, what else is happening?
Well, the plan was to bring Who Am I back. I have an NGO called Who Am I. I started Who Am I in 2016. It's an NGO that, you know, I work with kids. I love working with kids, the boy and the girl child. And before I'd done really, really well with my team. We even went as far as visiting Namibia because we're working on an African tour. So we can collaborate with other NGOs in other countries and find a way to collaborate and partner and see how we can change the lives of young people. But it stopped during COVID. And then after COVID, I was too busy. I wasn't in the right space. I mean, when you work with kids are very fragile and sensitive. You need to approach them with ease and grace.
Yeah.
So I felt like I needed to be stable in my life for me to open Who Am I. But because I didn't know I was going to be back on radio, that was the plan. So now I need to juggle all of these things and bring Who Am I back. We had poetry and live sessions. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I missed the music nights. We did our school tours. We visited schools across the country. We had merchandise that was out, wristbands. We're even looking into doing like a stationary pack for students across, you know, government schools across Botswana. We had like docu-series when we're addressing social ills, maybe talking about like I'm not my hair, or talking about weight issues, talking about skin, talking about so many other issues. So we had already shot a couple of docu-series. COVID slowed me down. I wish COVID never happened. I think I'd be so far right now. But that's the plan for this year. I really want to do a lot more community work, less and less of social media content creation. I'm part of a very huge African campaign that's currently happening with Coke, and I just signed a deal with Pedro's.
How can you be saying less social media creation
because
when it works for you so beautifully?
It does financially, but mentally also. One thing I've learned after my mom's passing, because I'm still dealing with, you know, her loss, whenever I feel like my mental space is not, I sort of take a break from social media. So I haven't taken a break in a while because a lot of things have been happening. Kana Kgang, now radio, now my social gigs. I'm getting gigs, MC bookings. At some point I crash. So for me, I know myself. I'm reaching that level where now I just need to stop. So I want to take less gigs after my campaigns are done, so I can just take a break and go on holiday. But yeah, less social media gigs. I'm back at the gym, so I really want to push and really take my fitness journey very seriously. So
speaking of the gym and fitness, I see you walk around the CBD quite a bit.
I do.
And can you advise those who may be watching the importance of fitness in relation to success and the importance of walking in particular? The
number one rule of fitness is discipline and commitment. And those two elements are very, very essential for anyone's development. You need to get used to a routine. You need to get used to a schedule of some sort. That's how you win at life. You don't just win by waking up today, not waking up tomorrow, waking up next week. But if you're committed to a certain routine, it really helps you achieve your goals. So for me, gym did that for me before my mother passed. I stopped gym when my mother passed. So this was like my comeback after 3 years. I felt like, no, now I'm ready to actually go back to fitness. So that's the most important thing. And two, after commitment and discipline, your mental health. You know, it doesn't take the pain away, but the good thing about gym is you learn to manage it. It really helps you manage the stress that you're under. So for me, walking an hour in the CBD area, I get home first of all tired, refreshed still, take a shower, I'm able to go to bed peacefully. It helps. In the 3 weeks I've started gym, the way I've been sleeping, my sleeping patterns is so different from before I started. Also now, because I know I have gym the next day, I plan for the day because I know I've got gym. You know, now I'm going back to, what am I doing tomorrow? I've got gym at 8, and then I have this and then this. Before,
so it's part of discipline and consistency.
So now I look forward to the day because I'm like, today I did 5 kg, tomorrow I'm doing 10 kg, tomorrow I'm doing squats, tomorrow I'm doing weights. Now I look forward to it.
Now, is there any advice that you can give apart from that in terms of your secret sauce or your ingredients for success? People are always wanting to know, what do I do to realize my goals and to be successful? Are there any sort of tidbits or nuggets that you can share on that?
Be ready to be alone. That's the one thing I've learned the hard way ever since I started opening a business. Be ready to be by yourself.
In other words, be alone without being lonely.
Yeah. Don't attach your dreams or your goals to anybody else. You really have to believe so much in your dreams that even if you do it alone, it's still fine. Obviously, as human beings, we're not created to be alone, you know. But on this journey of success, on this journey of building, you need to make peace with the fact that some will go, new friends will come. At some point, you're going to have to deal with things by yourself. Some journeys require isolation, and you really have to be ready for it. For me, that's what I learned in this journey of entrepreneurship. Be ready to do life by yourself. Building a brand is not an easy thing. Some will leave, some will come. But in between all of that, you're going to be alone. And don't attach your dream or your goals to anybody else but yourself. I think for me, that's the one bit. And then two, peace is the most important thing. Find it. I have a tattoo here: peace, love, and happiness. Because this is what these are my these three elements are my dreams. Peace is the most important thing. Even if you're going through so much, but you have peace in your heart, that really makes a huge difference. And the last thing is hope. I believe in faith. Hebrews 11 verse 1 talks about faith. Have so much faith. Even if things are not looking good, have so much faith that it may not look okay right now, but I know where I'm headed. Things are great. I have a tattoo. I have a tattoo. I have a tattoo here.
I'm not going to ask how many tattoos
No, don't ask. Romans 8:18. It's my favorite verse.
It says?
It talks about, for your current sufferings are not worth comparing to the glory that will be revealed in you. So basically what it says is, what you're currently going through now, it's nothing compared to the great things that are waiting for you in the future. So for me, that's my mantra. That's why it's even in my skin.
Because you've lived that reality as well. That every setback you've been able to experience much more in the future.
They will shake you a little bit. You might be down a day or two or a week, but don't stay there for too long. Because just enjoy the process and have faith, believe, and then eventually you're gonna wake up one day and be like, this is me. Oh, okay.
All right. I'm gonna ask you a general question relating to this issue of mindset change. Because it more or less coincides with your opening of your restaurant and being a fully fledged entrepreneur. In Botswana, with the setting up of the Ministry of Entrepreneurship, the mindset change, the presidential directive, Archencheng, how have we succeeded as a people in embracing this? First of all, was it desirable for us to change our mindset? And secondly, are we doing that? And what are your thoughts around how we are implementing this whole thing?
Change is necessary. It's very uncomfortable, I get it, but it was very necessary. I love the campaign so much because it speaks about, you know, things that are very essential for us in our personal development. As a person, as a family, as a community, and as a nation at large. I think it came at the right time. And I see it's implemented almost everywhere. But now the question is, when as a person, are you even ready for change? When as a person, are you working on self? Are you ready for change? Are you ready to do better? We can only achieve it as a nation if each and every single one of us does something about it. What changes are you implementing in your life? Have you had that conversation with yourself? So for me, I applaud the Republic of Botswana. I applaud the government of Botswana for having implemented it. I think sometimes you need to hear something over and over again for it to affect you or to impact you in a certain way. But now when it's a nationwide campaign and everyone is advised to do so.
But is it cascading down to even the civil service, rural areas?
I think it's still early to say. It's still early to say. Maybe ask me this question in the next 3 years. But hella, like I said, for us to achieve it as a nation, it starts with you. When I as a person, when I as a person, before like I Mr. Mogobe, before I'm working towards it. I believe in being the best version of myself. I'm not too hard on myself. I take each day as it comes. There are days where I feel like, oh man, come on, no. But there are days where I'm proud of my milestones. But yeah, it starts with you. I think if we can sort of introspect, we can get there as a nation. We really can.
I agree with you. Now, time for that crystal ball.
We're asking a question.
No. The crystal ball means you grabbing the ball and looking into the future.
Okay.
A couple of decades. What do you paint in your canvas in terms of what's going to emerge? If you are allowed to share your biggest dreams.
Married. Kids. I really want a peaceful home. My mother did the best she could to raise 3 beautiful daughters. You know, I want.
Not to say your mother. You don't say my parents.
She's my best friend. I think I'm being biased. Sorry. But yeah, my dad is my friend. But, I was very close with my mother. Maybe that's why I reference her a lot. You know, I want to have a family. I want to have a home, husband and kids. I see myself more as a mom in the future. The media space, I don't know that much. I haven't thought about it that far. But in terms of business ventures, food business, definitely. Real estate, I was telling you about it. I really want to, you know, be successful in that industry. I want to learn more and more about real estate. I'm quite interested. I've started talking to Isaac Munifinyana, Matchmakers Properties. We've been having conversations about it. I really want to invest in property.
He's been on this podcast a couple of times.
He has. So for me, I see myself. But I think for me, the heart of anything, it's just the family, because that's where it really starts, at home.
So what about the restaurant? Can we predict 10 branches all over the country?
10 is a bit too much. 3 at most.
3.
Yes, and then I want to open one in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
I really want to open one in South Africa. But in Botswana, 10 is a little bit too much. Maybe 3. We'll see how it goes. I just have to master this one and sort of really iron out certain issues and fix our errors. And
then create a system around it which can be
really
duplicated.
Works. Because mistakes will always be there. But if we can just build a really good system around it, then I look forward to opening the second one and the third one. But yes, businesswoman, most importantly, and who am I? I'll never stop doing community work because I love working with kids. I'll never stop. But most importantly, at the heart of everything, a home. A very peaceful home with my husband and my kids.
Wow, that's very interesting. It's the first person who's ever
really
put it like that.
Everything else will come after.
You mentioned faith when we were prepping for the show. Tell me about the importance of your faith in the context of even your tattoo and so on and so forth.
My spiritual life is very sacred to me. It's not something I share because I think, as a public figure, people have access into your life. So the one thing that I hold dear to my heart is my spirituality. But I am a praying woman. My mother raised as well. She was a warrior. That woman was a warrior, and I think when I look at my life and all the things I've achieved, honestly speaking, it's by the grace of God. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when you get a job or when you get an opportunity, some of them I look at them, I'm like, I wasn't qualified for this, but it's by favor. It's just, God's favor upon my life. I believe in prayer. I believe in fasting. Fasting is what really keeps me alive to this day. Fasting, finding time to go to church. But my belief, my spirituality really means everything to me. And can I share a secret with you? Even when I pray for a husband, the first thing that comes to mind is I want a man who fears God. That's, having been in unsuccessful relationships, if God is going to bless me with a husband, I really want a man who's after God's heart. Because that's the foundation of everything. If God is not in it, it's not going to go well. So for me, I wouldn't share much because that's the one piece of my life that I hold dear to my heart. But yes, I am a very spiritual person.
Indeed. All right. No, that's cool. Now, you can hit me with that question if you have one.
What was the most difficult case as a lawyer? The most difficult case you've had to do, and what was the outcome?
When you're dealing with murder, because if you blunder, someone can hang. It's clear in our statutes that if you're convicted for murder, then the automatic sentence is death, unless there are extenuating circumstances. Over the years, I've done a number of murder cases, but thank God so far I haven't lost a single one of those cases.
Oh wow!
And it's normally done pro deo or pro bono. What that means is that you don't charge. Maybe they cover just your disbursement. The case is allocated to you. So I've done quite a number of them. There was a time I used to do an average of 1 or 2 a year, and I'm glad to say that I was able to save those lives. They're always difficult because of the stakes. The level of preparation when you know the stakes are so high. I go to the point where I don't settle just on the evidence that is available on the docket, because what happens is that the Attorney General's chambers or the police, they give you a docket with all the witness statements and you work from there. Because I'm so fearful of losing a life, I would actually be happy with the evidence on the docket, but seek additional evidence on my own. Play detective and go around to the scene and get more statements to see if I can save a life. So the murder cases, I would say, are the most difficult. Yeah, thank you
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for asking that provocative question.
Yes.
An emotional one. All right.
Sorry.
Now look at that camera and share one last all-encompassing message as we wrap up our conversation. There's a camera there.
So I'm giving people advice. My last words to the viewers. Believe in yourself. Love yourself. Have so much faith in yourself and what you believe in. Love unapologetically. Love loud. Be kind to yourself and be kind to the next person. I think with everything that's happening in the world, people are really wounded. People are overwhelmed. Some are dealing with loss. Some are dealing with grief. Some are trying to look for jobs. Some are trying to pick up the pieces. But be kind, because you never know what someone is going through. But in all things, live your life fully and unapologetically so. And my last words is peace, love, and happiness to you.
Oh, that's great. That's a powerful message.
Thank you.
Would you care to let them know where they can access you?
Yes.
Social media and elsewhere?
Well, my name is Khumo Kgwaadira, so Ms. GK is everywhere. Ms. GK is on Twitter, Ms. GK is on Facebook, Ms. GK is on Instagram, Ms. GK is on TikTok. Please do visit our website, the Who Am I website, www.whoamibw.com. Kana Kgang is on social media as well. It's Kana Kgang BW on Instagram, Twitter. We're not active on Facebook.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are on radio from what time to what time?
Weekday, Monday to Friday, 12 to 3. It's called The Takeover with Ms. GK's.
The Takeover. And you take calls?
Yeah, we do.
No, let them know. Yeah.
We take calls on 3161-006.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
But reach out to me on the DMs.
Yeah.
DMs, and then we'll just read your messages live on air.
Wow. This has been a great interview.
Thank you so much. I was very nervous.
Yeah, you did a great job. It didn't show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mogobe. Thank you so much.
Yeah.